Greetings. How's everyone doing so far? You need not respond. I'm just mentioning it to let you know I acknowledge you. I'm not here to present myself or to be of any personality character, be it on podcast, YouTube, or any other segment. I'm here to give you a message. Like I said before the break, I finished doing 37 years and 6 months for the charge of which was attempt murder on a police officer. Now before you start turning off your TV and walking away because I shot a police, understand the circumstances that led up to that. In the year 1979, July 3rd, me and 3 others was transporting some weapons from the Bronx to Harlem. Unfortunately, in the Bronx, on Grand Concourse, there was an accident, a bump into a gypsy cab. The gypsy cab driver and the driver of our vehicle got out and had an exchange. I don't know what the exchange was for because it was an accident, but precipitated by the driver of our car. Why, I don't know. Never stuck around to find out either. So I told the driver, let's bounce, let's drive off. We drove off. The car followed. I guess he was on the horn calling up the police that we had an accident, we just drove away. So I got out of the car, got an individual's gun that was there and shot at the car to keep him from following us. Which it worked. Unfortunately, by the time we got to Harlem, the police picked us up on 145th Street. We turned the corner, I believe it was on 148th, and car pulled over to the side in an angle. I had slid down in the back seat, holding a shotgun, before we turned off 145th. So they didn't see me, they seen 3 heads, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Unfortunately, like I said, once the car moved into an angle and stopped, the driver suddenly jumped out and ran, compromising the situation, if you will. At that point, shot fired, no biggie. But when he jumped out the car, he compromised the situation and took it to another level. The police walked up to the car shortly after that and pointed the gun at the front passenger's head. The barrel was approximately 6 inches from the glass of the window of the car. All I could see was the officer's head, face part. The other officer was coming up the rear of the car. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what the intent was, but I wasn't trying to wait around to find out. Not when I had been arrested for stolen vehicles in the past. I had no problem giving myself up. Big deal. Stolen car. Grand larceny. Petty larceny, if you ask me, which is usually breaking down to 90 days and 6 months on Rikers Island. That's not the reason. I mention it because of procedure and policy of the police getting up on the car like that and not giving us a chance to get out if they wanted to or commanded us to get out. No command to get out but a gun pointed inside the car of occupants that were previously informed of by the driver of the gypsy cab to the police that shots were fired. If you know shots were fired, why you be up close to the car like that? Unless there's other thoughts going in your head. Well, those thoughts was entering mine, and I didn't wait around to find out its conclusion. I did what I had to do, unfortunately. He didn't die, fortunately. So glad, because I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. Not supposed to be. Under the adrenaline of the incident, after shooting the police, they fired back. The front passenger got hit in the kneecap and the foot. None of us, two in the back, was hit. But an interesting thing happened in my life, which made a drastic turning point, a very dramatic turning point in my life. My adrenaline was pumped up so high that after the firing stopped, that is the shooting or return fire by the police had stopped, for a couple of seconds, I jumped out the car. For what reason, I don't know. Why did I go up to that police car as he was trying to drive his wounded partner to the hospital? I aimed a shotgun at his head and looked at him. The hell was I thinking? That's what adrenaline does when it's being controlled by Shaitan, Satan, the rebellious spirit. Took my energy of my adrenaline and put me in a position that would have been universally justified if they made Swiss cheese out of me. They would have been justified. But it was at that particular point that I was called, as it were, by a voice or a power, as it is, that had me turn away and leave. Of course, that was July 3rd. I didn't get arrested until August 7th. My point and moral of that particular incident is that how did I get from the car to the police car with pointing the shotgun at his head, when I should have been clearly going the other direction? So that's why I know by experience, and it's not the first time, that there is a creator. And when he guides you, you got it right. And that's why I'm here. That's why I went through what I went through, because I learned quite a bit about myself. And I learned quite a bit about other people. Be careful who you associate with. Be mindful who your companion is. I'm not talking necessarily about man and woman, I'm talking about man and man. Because Shaitan, Satan, the rebellious one, gets us through our egos. Very easy. The ego is so fragile, so deadly and dangerous, because it's not supposed to be the determining factor of your actions. It's not a thinker, it's selfish. It's only concerned about its own satisfaction and gratification, nothing else, nothing more. We're supposed to apply our reasoning faculties, use our senses, perceptions correctly, and above all, this ain't no dream world, this ain't no Disneyland. This is real. And you got to ask yourself, why are these people projecting all this ha, he, and everything? We know that laughter deadens the heart. Ain't that what Proverbs say? All the scriptures talk about laughing too much. Why? Because in the serious, it ain't very much funny down here in this perpetual environment and creation of perpetual change. That is something that we must consider. Change. We change our mind, we change our attitude, we change our clothes. We do all these things. But we only got one heart. So let's not kid ourselves. The Creator makes believers. Really, the Creator makes believers. And when He calls, you respond. Or if He calls, and when He calls, because He will call you, and you don't respond, you have nobody to blame but yourself for not paying attention. We're going to take another break at this particular stage before we conclude.